Hello and welcome to RTM News. My name is Emmy Akura Adaa, and without wasting much of your time, we'll be taking a look at the stories coming in our news for tonight, starting with the first story coming in South Africa. We want to build one South Africa for all, DA on the rise of nationalism. Despite the rise of nationalism believed to have caused a loss in support for the DA in the elections, the party says it remains committed to building one South Africa for all. When we set our 2019 elections target, we did so under very different internal and external circumstances. It was in the mix of these euphoria that the terrain rapidly shifted. We were faced with internal challenges and significant changes in the political landscape. The rise of nationalism on both the left and the right. DA Federal Deputy Chairperson Arthur Chalip told the media during a briefing at the DA headquarters in Bruma, Johannesburg yesterday. The briefing comes after an ordinary sitting of the DA's Federal Executive to assess the political party's performance in the elections, while the official opposition retained the Western Cape and managed to secure the highest support from South Africans abroad. Some of its supporters in the country, however, choose a different route. Staying in South Africa, mother and daughter die in crash with bike. A mother and her younger daughter were killed when the car they were traveling in collided with a bikie. According to Naked 911 spokesperson Sean Herbs, paramedics responded to reports of a collision on the R29 near the Orient Hills Informal Settlement in the direction of Magaliesburg at around 7 p.m. Reports from the scene indicated that a light motor vehicle and a light delivery vehicle were involved in a collision, Herbs said. Paramedics assessed the scene and found that all the occupants of the bike escaped injury. An adult female and minor female from the car tragically died on the scene. Another adult male and minor female sustained moderate injuries and were treated on the scene by advanced life support paramedics. Taking a look at the last story coming in this segment, leaders who are not prepared to serve the people must step aside, says Ramaphosa. The ANC is expected to spend most of money over its premier candidates for 8 of the 9 provinces it won, and some National Executive Committee members say they expect no surprises to come from special NEC meeting in Irena. The governing party managed to cling to power following last week's national elections, winning over 57.51% of the electorate. ANC's President Cyril Ramaphosa promised that the party would make good on its promise to voters. Now we have a clear mandate. I can say we are going to do what our people want us to do. We are going to do what our people have wished for. We are now clear, he said yesterday. He made a comment outside the ANC's Lutuli House headquarters in the Johannesburg CBD on Sunday as the ANC celebrated its elections victory. After a short break, we will continue in African Stories. Stay tuned.
Programs education and entertainment. For spiritual messages uplifting your soul, we are here. Oh, RTM, RTM, oh, RTM, RTM, Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. Education and entertainment. For spiritual messages uplifting your soul, we are here. Oh, RTM, RTM, oh, RTM, RTM, Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. Oh, for quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment. For spiritual messages uplifting your soul, we are here. Oh, RTM, RTM, oh, RTM, RTM,
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's take a look at the stories coming in this segment. Clashes in Sudan after D on power structure. Violence fled in Sudan's capital Khartoum yesterday after the military council and opposition group say they have agreed to a power structure for the country's transition following the ejection of President Omar al-Bashir last month. Heavy gunfire was heard late into the evening, and the council said a military police officer had been killed and many protesters wounded. Local doctors said some were in serious condition. The council accused armed groups unhappy with the progress towards a political deal of opening fire at protest sites. Protesters say the counter-revolutionaries linked to the former regime were inciting violence. Earlier, paramilitary forces patrolled the street using tear gas and gunshot to disrupt protests blocking roads. Staying in this segment, UN Security Council member states meet on humanitarian crisis in Cameroon. Some members state of the United Nations Security Council had an informal meeting yesterday to discuss the worsening humanitarian crisis in the Anglophone region of Cameroon. A communique issued by the Cameroonian Ministry of External Relations, however, denied a report of a UN Security Council meeting on the Anglophone region crisis. According to the communique, no such meeting is scheduled. The communique further stated that this meeting was a free consultation entirely outside of the Council of the initiative of certain members who are interested in the humanitarian situation in Cameroon. In the last story coming in this segment, EU ministers call for political solution in Libya. European Union ministers have urged the escalation of the fight in Libya. Fires as the UN-backed Libya Prime Minister met EU officials in Brussels yesterday, where foreign ministers from the bloc's member states were expected to discuss the Libya crisis. We still strongly support the idea of a negotiated and political solution. We are preoccupied by the confrontation, including military confrontation, and we will give a very clear signal that the European Union is encouraging the de-escalation of the fight in Libya and concentrating on promoting at the level of the United States, promoting the idea of political solution for Libya, said the Romanian Foreign Minister Teodor. France reiterated a call for an immediate ceasefire. We'll be taking a look at the Nigerian stories after the short break. Stay tuned.
Programs education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. RTM, 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 Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. RTM, 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 Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. RTM, 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 Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the stories coming in this segment. Nigeria's ex-president rejects bribery claim and have zero investment abroad. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Nigeria's former president, has officially responded to bribery allegations leveled against him by the federal government in an oil scandal dating 8 years back. According to filing in a London court hearing the said case. The Nigerian government had accused Jonathan and his then oil minister of accepting bribes and breaking the country's laws to broker the $1.3 billion oil deal. In his rebuttal, Jonathan dismissed all the claims as, among others, falsehood, cheap and unpredictable ploy by the government to deflect from its failings and to tarnish his image at a time his profile continued to soar. Staying in Nigeria, reckless spending has not changed under Buhari, says Reps. The House of Representatives Committee on Public Account has said Nigeria has not been witnessing prudent use of government resources under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. The committee said the current administration could not be differentiated from the previous ones in terms of prudent use of government funds. The chairman of the PAC, Mr. Kingsley Chinda, who in company with members of the committee addressed journalists in Abuja on Monday, said the lawmakers were currently examining the annual report by the Auditor General of the Federation submitted to the legislature. When asked about the reckless spendings by the government, especially the ministries, departments and agencies, Chinda said generally, we have observed that not much has changed from the reckless system that we have operated in Nigeria. And in the last story coming in this segment, large area of Borno State still not accessible, says Osinbajo. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has said a large area of Borno State is still not accessible to healthcare workers because of the activities of Boko Haram. He also said many people in the state had fled to neighboring countries. Osinbajo, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, spoke in Abuja yesterday during a program tagged Nigeria Humanitarian Response Dialogue. The VP said that the occasion also served as an opportunity to celebrate the lives of 74 persons who died while trying to help people in distress. However, he said that the federal government had improved the country's humanitarian response, which he said was poor before the present administration. After the short break, we'll continue with our international story. Stay tuned.
Programs were education and entertainment. For spiritual messages uplifting your soul, we are here. RTM, 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 Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment. For spiritual messages uplifting your soul, we are here. RTM, 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 Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment. For spiritual messages uplifting your soul, we are here. RTM, 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 Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives.
You're still watching RTM News. Let's take a look at the stories coming in this segment. Sri Lanka vows maximum force against anti-Muslim rioters. Sri Lanka has partially lifted an overnight curfew imposed nationwide after an upsurge in anti-Muslim violence 3 weeks after the deadly Easter Sunday bombings. The curfew in the northwestern province will remain until further notice. Police said mosques and the Muslim-owned shops have been vandalized or set on fire, and one Muslim man has been slashed to death In several towns, the police fired into the air and used the tear gas to disperse mobs. Tensions have been high since Islamist militants attacked churches and hotels on Easter Sundays, killing more than 250 people. Staying in this segment, German crossbow death. Police find more bodies. German police are probing the death of 3 people shot with a crossbow arrows in a rural Bavarian hotel near Passau have found 2 more female bodies in a flat 650 kilometers 400 miles away. The flat in Wittingen has been occupied by a 30-year-old woman who was one of the victims found in the hotel room. The other 2 in the hotel room were a man and a woman found in bed, hand in hand, impaired with several arrows. There was no sign of a fight, nor of another participant, police said. All 5 victims were resident in Germany. And taking a look at the last story coming in this segment, organized crime NCA says its budget needs to double. Organized crime poses such a threat to the UK that an extra £3 billion will be needed to fight it over the next 3 years, the National Crime Agency says. Its head, Lynn Owens, says that this includes more than doubling the NCA's annual budget from £424 million to nearly £1.1 billion. In a speech later, she will warn the public will feel the consequences if the government does not find the cash. The agency annual review of organized crime says there are more than 4,500 groups with 37,000 members in the UK, but it says that the threat from these offenders is rapidly changing and it needs a vast increase in resources to keep up. And those are all the stories we have for you in our international stories. After the short break, we'll continue with our sports stories. Stay tuned.
Programs were education and entertainment for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Education and entertainment for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's take a look at the stories coming in our sports stories. Manchester City Real Madrid is happy at Premier League champions. Manchester City's record signing, Real Madrid insists he is very happy at the club despite limited playing time. Madrid's 28 scored the City's 3rd goal on Sunday as Pep Guardiola's side defeated Brighton 4-1 to become the first team to defend the Premier League title in a decade. But the Algerian international, a £60 million summer buy from Leicester City, has started just 14 league matches this season. I need to stay strong because it's part of my personality, said Mahrez. I'm very happy here. It is not that because I don't play, I am going to go somewhere else. It's part of the game. Staying in the sports story, PGA Championship, Tiger Woods' quest for 16th major provides irresistible narrative. Tiger Woods' epic Masters victory was the perfect result for the revamped golf schedule. Certainly, the PGA of America could not have asked for a better backdrop for the launch of its major in its new springtime date. Traditionally, the fourth of the Big Four in resonance and date, the PGA Championship comes earlier this year and is Woods' first outing since his astonishing Augusta win. It was a win that re-energized the sport. A month on anticipation has been heightened for this week's US PGA gathering at Bethpage Black. And in the last story coming in our sports story, Conor McGregor charges dropped after a phone smashing incident. Florida prosecutors have dropped all charges against UFC star Conor McGregor after he was arrested for allegedly smashing a fan's phone. The Irish fighter had been charged with strong armed robbery, misdemeanor criminal mischief. But on Monday, state prosecutors said that the alleged victim had gone abroad and stopped cooperating with police. The incident took place on 11 March as McGregor, 30, left the Fontainebleau Miami Beach hotel. According to a police report fired at the time, the fan was trying to take pictures when the fighter knocked out of his hand before stamping on it, picking it up and leaving with it. And those are all the stories we have in our news for tonight. See you again tomorrow, same time, same station. Do have a wonderful evening.
Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. Well, for quality programs, we're here. Education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your